before we jump into game one here. You guys can go ahead and decide, too, which team has the stronger draft here. Is it Smart Omega? Is it Falcons leading?
Welcome to Mobile Legends!
Match for day 3, MPL Philippines S15, and the first time that we're going to actually get to see Smart Omega play, and this is the draft they bring to this game 1. And with that, too, again, we know that they can play around with this mobility. Like, anytime you see Joy in the jungle, you're going to be working around with the mobility, and you top off that by having that Hylos there to help kind of slow down the opposing team. But you just have to watch out for the amount of crowd control from Falcons here.
You would really want to be as aggressive as you can, especially as Ukir here. But one common trend we've been seeing in the previous games as well is just how teams up against the Selena just try to make sure that they gain control of the mid lane. Their mid duos tend to be more aggressive, but now that the Tigreal is in Team Falcon's hands, so they kind of probably could play around that a little bit more. It's the hit or miss concept of the Selena that they really have to take into consideration for the early game.
And looking at the emblems here, too, you know, the Flap TZ running with a hybrid as well, you know, just helping them on this Badang. I know there's a couple different versions of Badang, XP lane, and even that Roam version, so... Oh, hold on. Whoa, Chaknu.
Early revitalize on a Chaknu. Gets hit with a Retribution. Slow down. Is there enough damage? Yes, there is. Kyle TZ draws first blood.
That Abyssal Trap didn't even hit. That was some sort of way, but... This is what we're expecting from Team Falcons. Once you deny that snowball, that early threat of those quick rotations coming from Smart Omega, which we aren't really seeing right now since it seems like Ukir is trapped here in his lane. It's one of the biggest threats you could have as a Selena. Like, if you're not able to rotate and be a huge threat using those random Abyssal arrows from different angles.
Okay, Lewis comes down to the mid, gets that level 4. They're going to go ahead and start up this fight for the first turtle. Falcons will get in position 2. They've got what they need.
Looking like they're taking it slow as Few catches an arrow. That's a man down for Team Falcons, but Kyle TZ finesses a Retribution. The implosion by Ogwin, and Doryu bites it. Ogwin gets a kill. Big knockup. Lewis barely standing, gets hit with a fist crack and a fist break. And now Chakun the only one left. The surge and the finishing touch, the flourish by Kyle.
Ukir's left alone here. Will he still go for those 3 members?
Ogwin knocking them up, serving up a triple to Kyle TZ.
I'm not sure, you know, if that, the concept, the idea there from Ukir was like, I want to get 1, but unfortunately ends up giving another kill over to Kyle TZ. Talk about it, early game power spike already for Asuyo, 4-0 in 1. Oh.
Yeah, and everyone there were grouped together. So even when that single Abyssal arrow connected onto a great target, oh, speaking of another target, that's Few.
Whoa.
Purify already spent up, serving up a kill. Ukir goes, Chaknu, Glorious Pathway defensively used. That is a 1-for-1.
Oh, 2 immediate Hunter strikes picked up for Super Marco and Kyle TZ. We haven't even paid much attention to the gold lane, but given all the action that was happening towards the opposite side of the map, it seems like Super Marco was able to gain a really good control of his own lane. He's ahead by almost 1,000 up against Jome. This is not looking so good, but at the same time, something we'd probably expect from Smart Omega in the early game.
I mean, that's, you know, I know you like to play Suyo, Leo. That's every jungler's golden dream, if you will, because it's golden month, right? You get 5-0 right now on a Suyo. You got the Hunter strike this early.
I did this earlier today.
You did. I was there.
It feels great.
I was there.
It feels great. Oh, Flap Easy catches 1. Serving up a kill for Few. Nice pick off for Falcons as Omega is left reeling. Again, Falcons drafted a lineup that goes online much earlier. I didn't expect it to happen on the other side of the map.
It's funny because Brigida mentioned this before into the game. Like, both lineups look like they want to start aggressively, and it was just Falcons that started the flight earlier in this game 1. Garnering nearly a 4,000 gold lead at 4.5 minutes in. This turtle should be theirs. But it looks like Smart Omega actually wants to contest it.
Glorious Pathway by Chaknu. Deterring any retreat from Falcons. Turtle falls. Kyle TZ gets an extra shield. Slays it. 100% 2 for 2 so far. Feather strike by Few. Look at the back line on Doryu trying to find idol Nama kids as Chaknu tries to deter any more retreats once more. Flap TZ gets 1. Lewis served up a kill. And now Super Marco blasting away. Sever from Kyle TZ. Now the Primal Wrath ends. Super Marco slays the wild Centaur Man as they walk away with more kills still on the board, 4,000 gold ahead.
That team fight was long enough for Super Marco to make it.
Yeah.
And he was able to get that kill, which could just probably add up to the way he's currently leading in terms of gold. He's the highest earning man in this game so far, and that isn't looking so good. If he gets the Sky Piercer immediately at this point of the game, then the range will be a huge threat here for Smart Omega.
Asking you shall receive.
Asking you shall receive. He's already got it locked in, so you know that's why he wants to be joining these fights when he can. But I was also impressed with the fact that even despite that deficit before that turtle started up, that Smart Omega was actually able to go ahead and duke it out for that fight and last that long. You know, the only downside, and I know the Salinas have been popping up a lot now, and it's like you throw out the arrows, if they don't land, it's unfortunate because, you know, you kind of have to wait for the next cooldown to be up before you can actually do much in a team fight kind of objective there. Oh, Gwen, not going to land that.
Okay. Well, I mean, the lineup here for Smart Omega, the concept of like having Chaknu constantly gather information or constantly be in the faces of Falcons actually increases the chances of those abyssal arrows connecting, right? And actually finding ways to start the team fights for Smart Omega. But as we've previously mentioned, it isn't like they actually spot out members from Falcons alone. It's always that they're grouped together or paired up, similar to what we're seeing across the map right now. And even when they decide to go in, it doesn't feel like their damage is enough. The fights always get split up, and even when they go for their targets, it just doesn't work!
Chom gets taken out off camera as Kyle Teasy and Few, alongside Ogwin, dodge a quick pincer attack. Super Marco retaliates. Lewis taken down. Chatton down to half health, backs off. That was a gank that I think Omega wanted to take for themselves, but Falcons instead finds them in a trap.
They went that position for the sandwich play, and then it just kind of backfired on them. Again, you have to take in consideration just how far ahead, you know, items and gold-wise Falcons are. So even though that might have worked in their favor, ultimately it just backfires.
Yeah, and it's very unfortunate that it was Jome which fell first for Smart Omega.
Looks like they're ready for a fight. Flicker Implosion coming in from the Master. The answer, the Feather Air Strike. Glorious Pathway set in by Chaknu. Marco shut down by Andoryu, though too much of the electrical beats. And Chom gets taken out by the ultimate combo of the Filipino Cannon. 2-for-1 the trade.
How do you dance around the members of Falcons Esports if you were Jome? You would want to go with your heavy crossbow, just run around and damage their members, but you'd have to take into consideration the burst coming in from Few at this point, that well-reserved and timed implosion plays from Ogwin, and the disruption from Flapteezy. It works so well for Falcons Esports now that they're able to group up so early.
That's why I like but you know, and I've been a fan of Badang before he started fitting in this meta, but you're going to take a look here at the replay, and great implosion here too, but watch Flap. Like, this usage of the Badang stops that tempo. It breaks the tempo that Smart Omega was trying to build, and that's why Badang fits so well in this current meta, because he's able to do that, and that's the utility that he brings. I mean, obviously, even when you build him like this, right, he's pretty much tanky, but it's mainly for those abilities to go ahead and get the fist crack in, get the ultimate down, and everything else. So very great usage of the utility this hero brings to these team fights.
Oh my god, look at this. No regard for self-preservation. Kyle Teasy goes straight for the BOD. He doesn't care. Nope, I don't want Winter Crown. I just want to kill.
Yeah, it's actually just Flap, which is kind of tanky right now.
They get one in, plus the snipe from Super Marco from downtown. Chaknu falls.
That was just well lined up right there, you know?
Yeah.
And it keeps happening. Andorra, I'm not sure, again, if you want to really be in two kind of risky positions, but maybe if you're Smart Omega, this is just kind of what it results to, Brig.
Yeah, you can't just go in if you were Smart Omega, even if you were Andoryu. Few also has the Blood Wings already, so he will probably have higher chances of being able to escape or even use the Wings by Wings to get away from all those attempts from Andoryu. And if it weren't Andoryu, earlier we've seen this scenario where Jome actually tried to just dish out the damage, but aside from the fact that it still wasn't enough, the fist crack, the fist break, they were all reserved from him. So amidst all the chaos, Flap was just able to make sure that Jome was someone they were able to pin down. So things aren't becoming that easy for Smart Omega, especially as now first objective went into the hands of Falcons, and it doesn't seem like they'll be letting any outer Earth stay after this.
Yeah, and this is tough too, because if you're looking at the lineup for Smart Omega, like, you need quite a bit of time for them to actually get online, especially for this Irithyll. You know, again, Ukir is only really able to land off the shots, but then you can't really follow up even if you get an Abyssal Arrow off just because of how far behind you are. So these turrets are going to be made quick work of while they wait for that Lord to approach from the bottom side, but they're just going to go in.
They pop the Holy Shield, ushering in one small siege minion. And top lane as well, we'll see a crash on the wave. Smart Omega doing their darndest to quell Falcon's push.
Yep, and Doryu just will really try to minimize the amount of waves that will be coming in, but we can't deny the fact there's a concealed play as well from Master Owen. They could threaten away Smart Omega. I cannot see the tempo setting come in from Smart Omega.
Few pulls out the Feathered Airstrike, pushing in bottom lane inhibitor. That's just the top lane left for Smart Omega, and they're doing their best. They are holding on. They can't even leave their base.
They can't leave the base. 11 minutes in, 12,000 ahead. Just a very one-sided game one here for Falcon so far, with the Barangay just kind of trying to figure out what can we do. They've resulted in throwing Andoru all over the map, trying to cut waves, steal, but his team.
Andoru, they need you! The flicker and the onward from Lewis might not work out. Okir falls first. Lewis follows up next. Chaknu down as well. It's a double for Kyle, and that leaves 2 to defend.
There's Andoru.
You want to buy time, but how could you in this kind of situation where Falcon just keeps going for it?
Charge Surge, finding Andoru, forcing him to back off, retreat into his own side of the jungle. Oh, he's playing possum. He's just having Falcons chase him down. Kyle and Andoru.
Cat and mouse.
All right.
They're up top.
Hiding in one, surges into one brush, feints the recall. Kyle TZ severs the heal. Andoru running around. Tom and Jerry. Trying
to catch him here. The rest of the team, they're happy with it. They got all the turrets.
Oh, in comes Few. Wings by wings. They know that they're in the Y brush. And the stun and the takedown. All the ults thrown to take down the Nightmare.
What perfect timing. Andoru won't be there for the Lord. Not that they could be confident enough to contest it either way, but that just minimizes their chances of making other plays, which could like bring up their goal, because that's what they need. That's what they need right now. They're clearly at a disadvantage, and it feels like a very passive situation or gameplay from Smart Omega.
This is one of those situations where you just, I don't know, even for me, it's like, man, we gotta move on to the next. You saw the damage, right? I mean, even Okir and Jome were behind Flap. And I know, you know, Flap, for the most part, playing this Badang, he's been able to just set things up with that fist crack and the fist break and everything else, but that's a big problem for Smart Omega. The Lord is obviously taken. It's going to get ready to march in the base. Falcons did everything they had to on the first Lord, getting all the turrets down. So base is exposed, and now you're facing probably one of the biggest leads this weekend. Deficits that Smart Omega has to deal with as this Lord marches in.
I mean, if they get to go for the bounty onto Kyle TZ, that'll be a lot too, but how could you just go for him? Everything is being set up perfectly for the damage dealers of Falcons, and now that we're just waiting for the Lord, I don't see any play that Omega could do at this point, not unless Luis decides to go in with a flicker, but they started themselves.
Flap TZ compromising Andoru, the Glorious Pathway coming in, and they're vitalized from Chaknu. The Lord, the implosion, the Feathered Airstrike, all but the kitchen sink thrown at Smart Omega. Lewis and Chaknu fall. Andoru trying his darndest. Double kill for Super Marco. Down goes Jome. Ukir, the only one left, and that'll be it. Game 1.